Strand 2 of the Good Friday Agreement was everything to us who supported the nationalist position, because Strand 2 said Belfast, Dublin. The whole notion that I think is now pervasive in Western Europe and the United States, that is growing more and more problematic for us, it's the idea of economic nationalism. We're retreating from globalization. I'm not more Irish than Jerry Adams or John Hume or Martin McGuinness. If they say the agreement's good, who are we to dispute the agreement?
You've got the words to change a nation, but you're biting your tongue. You spend a lifetime stuck in silence, afraid you say something wrong. If no one ever hears it, how we gonna learn your song? So come on, come on, come on, come on. You've got a heart as loud as lion, so well, let your voice be tamed. Baby, we're a little different, there's no need to be ashamed. You've got the light to fight the shadows, so stop hiding it away. Come on.
Well, good evening and welcome to a Monday evening at Restore Live. And going out in a way that we don't do Mondays now. We normally do Wednesdays, but I thought that I needed to come on to have a chat about some of the things that happened last week. And for the purpose being is that we've entitled this screen this evening a major cultural boost for Northern Ireland unionism. And when people come together, as they did over the weekend, as they did with reference to the centenary celebrations in Belfast Saturday just past, well, what it does is it gives us a boost as people. What it does also is it shows that unionism, contrary to what it is that you hear in the mainstream media, contrary to what it is that you hear all the political commentators saying, well, they have Northern Ireland unionism written off. And what Saturday showed was that by far unionism is not over by a long shot. In fact, what we witnessed on Saturday was the coming together of unionism, and in a way that, if managed properly, well, this could be the start of a fight back that would ensure our place and ensure our future. That would last for another 100 years. So there's something to be smiled about. There's something to be celebrating with reference how that things went on Saturday and how that the people that would have written unionism off, well, they remain silent today because of the sheer numbers that came out onto the streets of Belfast. Now, we hear that the PSNI, the official figures are, that there were somewhere in the region of 125,000 people that attended both to walk in the procession and also to line the streets to welcome and celebrate those people who would have walked in the procession. But, I'm a logical type of fella. And I think, whenever at the Belfast City Hall in November of 1995 at a protest against the Anglo-Irish Agreement, when all of unionism they came and they ascended upon Belfast city centre, and they done so in huge numbers. The quoted figure back then was 250,000, and whenever that we stood at the gates of Stormont and watched the start of the parade, and the start of the parade probably around 1 o'clock, reaching the gates of Stormont by the time it made its way down, the mall in front of Stormont there. And, going on from somewhere in the region of 1 o'clock. And then we proceeded to the Lower Newtownards Road. And, at 6:15 that evening, the last barns on that parade and lodges were actually passing. So what a parade. How long did it actually take to pass from one fixed spot? If anyone knows that, if anyone stayed in their position all day long, I mean, I would like for you to put into the live chat how long it would have actually taken to pass. So what a parade, what a turnout, what a day. And it is a day that gives us as British Unionists a huge boost in terms of that there are people that cares about our culture. There are people that cares about our place in the United Kingdom. There are people who wanted to come out and wanted to celebrate that Northern Ireland was 100 years old. And not only are there people, but there are huge, huge numbers of people that come out onto those streets to celebrate the very fact that Northern Ireland is 100 years old. Now, we hear the likes of Sinn Féin, we hear, the nationalist parties and anyone else who really detests Britishness with a passion. We hear them, run Northern Ireland down. We hear them saying that it's a failed state. We hear them saying that it doesn't work and it hasn't worked and it won't work and it will continue not to work. But why hasn't it worked in their eyes? Well, that's because of their bedfellows in the IRA who seek to destroy this place, who have sought to destroy this place ever since that this place came into being. Why did Northern Ireland come into being? Well, it came into being because that the people in Ireland, the popular support was for the Irish Republic to go it alone, to partition themselves from England, Scotland, and Wales and Northern Ireland. And that's the way that it went. They partitioned themselves. And whenever they talk about partition, they're talking about that they decided to walk away from the greatest union that the world has ever seen. And that is the union of people that used to be, well, Ireland, Northern Ireland, England, Scotland, and Wales. And just to say again, to recap, they decided to walk away. Now that they're away, they're wanting to trail us people in Northern Ireland out of the Union. Also, well, on Saturday, at least 125,000 people came out onto the streets of Belfast in a direct opposition to, well, Northern Ireland needs to remain British, and we're not going to be cajoled, we're not going to be pushed, we're not going to be threatened or offended in any such way that we're going to give up our place in the United Kingdom without a fight. And whenever I say without a fight, I mean without a fight of using politics, using weapons of words. We're not talking about physical violence here. We don't need to do things that way. What we need to do is that we need to stand tall, and we need to talk up the benefits of being part of the United Kingdom. So there you go. There was one reason why that we actually should be celebrating a major cultural boost for Northern Ireland, which just happened Saturday past there in May of 2022. And we've got to take our hats off to the organisers, to the Orange Order, for organising such event and for putting it all together, bringing it all together, and in a way that it passed off without any incident whatsoever. And you could be assured that those that are shouting from the sidelines and saying that unionism is finished, well, they wouldn't have been happy because of the amount of people that came and that celebrated the fact that Northern Ireland is 101 years old. And you know what I want to do? This wasn't something that I planned. I just felt the need to come on and have a chat about how things had went and how that what happened was a major cultural boost. And I also wanted to go over a few things and just show you some things from Saturday. So starting here, what I want to do is that I want to bear with me for a second. I want to show my screen. I want to share my screen, and I want to show some pictures from Saturday. We'll start there. We'll show that it wasn't just old men, contrary to what it was that was written in the newsletter whenever they were saying that unionism is finished and they're in Zimmer frames and they're in wheelchairs and they'll not see another 100 years. Well, if you were there on Saturday, you would have seen men, women, and children of all ages celebrating the fact that Northern Ireland was 101 years old, and also celebrating the fact that their culture meant a lot to them. That was the people that lined the streets. So what I want to do is I'm going to talk as I do this. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to share the screen in front of us. And if you just bear with me for a second, bear with me. Here we go. And we'll get some pictures up in front of us, and we'll go through some pictures of the event. Now, here we go. I think it's this one. Yes, it is. It is. So we're going to share this right in front of our very eyes. Now, where am I? Back to StreamYard again. Yeah. Now, I need to go. Bear with me for a second, and I will enhance this. And we'll just check on the StreamYard again. There we go. That's enough that people should actually see. So what I want to do is I want to go through some pictures that we would have taken at that event on Saturday. And here you'll see people very, very happy, enjoying the day, enjoying the festivities, the celebrations. And I'm just going to flip through the pictures, and we'll get through them and show. Look, again, you'll see crowds of people. You'll see people. There's two people there celebrating the Jubilee, which is about to come also next week, which will also give unionism here in Northern Ireland another cultural boost. So again, just ordinary people out celebrating the day. And if you look even behind these people, you'll see a young man in a little cap there, and his father popping him up above these people's head. I mean, the day it was full of festivities. Young girls here, as you can see, enjoying the festivities. And you might note there is that they have some of the Restore UK badges on, the No Irish Sea Border badges, and we give quite a handful of those out on our travels just the other day. Now, again, you'll see just ordinary people here, having a good time and enjoying the day, not out to cause anybody any harm, but just out to enjoy the fact and to celebrate that Northern Ireland is 101 years old. And the same again, just some more pictures as we go through. Now here you'll see some people on the march, and you'll see the smiles on these guys' faces as they walk past, and they see myself with cameras, and they see me taking the pictures, and look, they all sort of rise to the challenge, and you'll see the smiles on all four participants' face here. And again, just showing that it was a day of celebration and a day of happiness in Northern Ireland, and something that I have to say that I will remember for the rest of my life, because it was a milestone in the history of Northern Ireland. Two young lads here in the lodge, giving it all, putting their thumbs up, showing how happy that they are to be taking part in that parade just a few days ago. Here we have some of the marching band fraternity and some of the loyal orders actually walking behind. And yet again, another man enjoying the day as he pounded his bass drum, walking down the Upper Newtownards Road in Belfast. And again, we'll see another picture of the same band. And the young man here in front of that band. And again, look at the age of that young man, joining in the marching band fraternity. And, he has a long future. He has a long future. He might see almost the next centenary if we ensure that we stand up for Northern Ireland, with everything that we have. And I am honestly, I have to say that I'm encouraged just this week, and we're going to talk about that very, very soon. Whenever I say that we had a major cultural boost in Northern Ireland over the past week, well, we're going to get into that very soon and show you how serious things were 2 weeks ago, whenever we were highlighting that possibly people were going to go the wrong way. But I have to say, as the days has went on, we've seen green shoots appear, and we've seen a change of attitude from our political leaders, and we've seen a hardening of attitudes from our political leaders, and we're going to talk about that very, very soon. And again, you'll see the crowds, the festivities, the marching bands coming down the Upper Newtownards Road there, and the crowds lining each side here. Some more marching bands pictures. Again, another bass drum. Again, some marching bands fraternity. The same band again. And as I just flip through here, we'll stop and we'll hide it as we go. I was particularly drawn with this bass drum, with the little, look at the little, I don't know, what do you call that? I'm going to say doll on the front there. All dressed and having a little accordion and everything else stuck in the front of that bass drum. I thought that was cute. And here we have an accordion band. Some people enjoying the festivities again. Again, there's a band there from North Antrim. And as we go, a young lady there just enjoying the day with waving her Ulster flag. Now look at this picture. This picture I took for a reason. And if you just look down the Lower Newtownards Road, and this wasn't at the end of the parade, there was just a bit of a break in the parade. But look at the concentrate of people from really above the Holyrood Arches area, and right down the distance of the Newtownards Road there. It was really densely populated. So many people there. That was, it was a sight to behold, I have to say. And, seeing some of the pictures going on down towards the Belfast city centre. In fact, we had Peter Morris a man who comes here, and he came all the way from Scotland to walk in this parade. And I met up with Peter just shortly, well, whenever the parade was still ongoing, and he had already walked the distance of the parade, and he said to me that the crowds, I mean, that went all the way into the city centre with a break at Short Strand there. So, you know, the amount of people was colossal on the day. All right, moving on. And here we have again some people enjoying the festivities. And, you know, a marching band, people who I know in this band. And it's a very, very good band. So it is Drumahegles from up around the County Antrim area. If any of you haven't heard them, I would encourage you to go over and to listen to some of their music because they're very, very accomplished in what they do. They're always well turned out and they play very, very well. And again, you know, just looking up the road here and the Upper Newton Arch Road, again showing, you know, the day out that it was for people whenever that they sat along the route and, you know, they sat and they enjoyed the day as it passed. Again, I was really taken by this band here and how that it was that they were, you know, dressed and you know, like it should, like the people would have been dressed, you know, all that time ago in, like it says here, 1916 to 2016. And there's another picture of that band and the mall up towards Stormont, or the Avenue, I think it is that they call it. Now here we have some ladies taking part in their orange collarettes. And here we have another couple of young ladies, as you can see, smiling and happy to be there on that day. And look how they were dressed, and they came even equipped for the rain with their orange umbrellas. And I'm just flipping through here. And this is really where the pictures end that I'm about to show you. But, you know, what a parade, what a day, and something that's going to be, I'm going to say, etched in my memory from that day, really from now going forward. It's something that I'm always going to remember. So there you go. That's something that I thought that I really wanted to show you with reference today. Now, if you just bear with me for a second, I'm going over myself here just to see what it is that I need to kick off my screen so that I can move on and so that I can just bear with me again. Now, what have I done? Right, okay. That's me. That's me back again. So, you know, that just shows you what it was that happened on at the weekend. Now, I'm sure that these people won't actually mind, and we'll just want to go and we're just going to want to get a taste of the music. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to make use of some people that are on YouTube that actually took some really, really good video footage of the day. So again, what I want to do is I want to share my screen. If you just bear with me for a second. And yeah, I'm going to go, yes, I'm going to go here, I think. No, I'm going to go here. Sorry about this. Sorry about this. Right, just bear with me for a second. I'm going to remove this from our screen. So there you go. Nothing prepared this evening, and what we're just making use of is we can actually show you from other people's screens what it was that actually had happened on at the weekend. And I have to say the event, it passed off, more better than anyone could have imagined. So again, yet again, credit where credit is due. Credit where credit is due to all of Unionism, all the people of Unionism, and we're not excluding anyone here, whilst that we previously could have contentions with people today, speaking about what happened on Saturday. It has to be a cause for celebration right across the entire Unionist community, because what we had on Saturday is that we had a win for Unionism. We had a huge cultural boost. And it is something that we need to actually build off and ensure that we use that. What we do is that we harness the energy that came from Saturday's event. And, once energy is harnessed well, it can be used as a real good force for good. And that's exactly what we need to do. We need to ensure that we build off it. And we try to encourage people to come back onto the terraces again, once more, supporting the good team Unionism, because too many of our people have actually left the terraces as a result of, well, I would say that, they're disillusioned with politics, they're disillusioned with politicians, and they're disillusioned with the very fact that we have been, we've been sold and sold and sold again by some people that really should be protecting us. Now, it's not all lost, because we're going to come back in a few moments once we go through a few short video clips, and we're going to actually show that behind closed doors last week and the week before, well, the people at Restore, working in conjunction with others right around this country, working as a collective, well, we had what we believe to be huge successes. And it's not just down to us, as I say, it's down to the collective that are people who care about this country right around Northern Ireland, people in high positions, people in cultural positions, people coming together and people working as a force for good, persuading politicians that, well, maybe the road that they were attempting to go down was the wrong road. And we'll talk about that very, very soon when we get into this stream. So there we go. I'm just going to now remove that from the stream that I just played there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go on to now showing something else. If you just bear with me and bear with me again to I get offload that. So again, and I just want to show you, and I'm just going to take this away too. So yes, this is the one that I want, and I just have to be choosing what it is that I want to share on my screen. So just bear with me for a second again, and we're going to go for something else that I feel the need to show the people here at Restore UK.
It all began on the Stormont estate, with people gathering long before the parade started. It was billed as a celebration of 100 years of Northern Ireland. And when it came to the speeches, there was a clear theme, a determination to stay within the UK.
We are United Kingdom citizens by birth, Northern Irish through our culture and heritage, which makes us British by choice and conviction. We have no interest in becoming part of an All-Ireland. Save your breath. It doesn't matter if every day was the 12th of July. If our future's not on the Union Jack, then count us out. British we are and British will stay.
But he went on to say that the Union as it stands is in jeopardy because, he said, of the Northern Ireland Protocol.
To all who wish to remain British, if the protocol is not sorted, then make no mistake, there will be no next 100 years for Northern Ireland.
For some, today was emotional.
I'm an Orangeman 51 years. I was a junior Orangeman for 9 years before that. My grandfathers fought at the Somme. And I believe I'm here today representing them.
Do you think there will still be a Northern Ireland in another 100 years?
I believe there will be. I think if you look at the feeling among people across all sections of society, I think there's a feeling that Northern Ireland represents them now.
After the speeches came the parade, a walk down through the Stormont estate, onto the Upper Newtownards Road, and then through the streets of East Belfast, ending up at the City Hall. A walk of just over 4 miles. It was a large crowd. The question is, how large?
Well, we estimate around 100,000 people maybe watching the event along the route and about 25,000 people taking part. So quite a significant policing operation.
Love it, absolutely love it. The weather's fantastic and the crowds are fantastic. It's a great atmosphere.
How was the walk?
Long, very, very long. Yeah, we all need a drink. Tea.
The crowds are still out. The parade is still going. The city centre is expected to return to normal around 9 o'clock. Mark Simpson, BBC Newsline.
Just bear with me, because of the nature of how that we're doing this evening, we're using other people's footage, and I have to say, and this is the way things need to be, is that footage there was credit to the BBC, and what we're showing really is that, you know, even the BBC, and they're not known for producing let's say film like that actually doesn't really knock the cause of unionism. They were showing it as the day that it was. They were showing it as a cultural event. They were showing it as a celebration. They were showing it as the numbers that actually turned out. You even heard the chief constable from the PSNI, you know, talk in terms of numbers. Now, that was a guesstimate, but, you know, as I said earlier, if you had taken the amount of people that was in Stormont, lined those routes, the marching bands, and you had jam-packed them all in and around the City Hall, I just wonder where that crowd would have started and where that crowd would actually have ended. Judging by the amount of people, if you can recall back to that iconic footage of whenever the Unionists came to the Belfast City Hall in November of 1985 to protest against the Anglo-Irish Agreement. So again, it's something to be celebrated, what it was that we actually seen over the weekend. Now, what I want to do, people, and I see that the numbers on the screen is very, very high, and I really want you to hang around. Don't go anywhere. And the reason why that I do is that I'm going to go and I'm going to look for no, I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now, because we have other things to talk about. I was going to go and look for something that Jim Allister would have delivered today in terms of a speech in the Stormont Hall, whenever that he was talking about standing up for us, and how that he was sort of suggesting about the hypocrisy of Sinn Féin and the Alliance Party, whenever that it is that, well, let's just remember one thing, that the Alliance Party, they're now, they went today and they thought that it was a good thing to go today to put unionism behind the 8 ball, whenever that they're wanting to break the resolve of unionism, and they're wanting to ensure that the DUP would break their promises to Northern Ireland unionism, whenever they said that they would stand strong and the protocol has to go, and the democratic right of the unionist people in Northern Ireland has to be respected. That was what Jeffrey Donaldson said. But you see, the Alliance Party, the Sinn Féin, and many other people, the European Union, the Americans you've seen last week, the Dublin government, some in the Westminster Parliament, they are all putting huge pressure they're leveling that huge pressure at the DUP's door. And we need to ensure, we need to insist, we need to encourage that Jeffrey Donaldson stands by his protocol rally stage promises, that the protocol has to go, that the democratic right of the unionist people in Northern Ireland has to be upheld and has to be respected. That's what we need to ensure. And we're going to talk about that some more very, very soon, whenever we tell you that we believe as a collective, not just the people at Restore, but people at Restore working with others right around this country in the past few weeks, well, we believe that we may have actually copper fastened that stance by Jeffrey Donaldson, whenever Jeffrey Donaldson would have said that he will not be going back into Stormont unless that the protocol is gone, unless that all aspects of the protocol is gone, unless that Northern Ireland unionists have their democratic right once again respected within the United Kingdom. Now, what is this all about, people? This is all about equality. This is all about us as Northern Ireland unionists having the same equal rights to people in England, Scotland, and Wales. Whenever it was that they got their Brexit referendum result delivered upon, they got democracy. We didn't. We had our democracy removed, and we find ourselves as part of the European Union. We find ourselves with a border in the North Channel between England, Scotland, and Wales and Northern Ireland. That's where we find ourselves, and yet we were victorious. We formed part of the 17.4 plus million people who voted to leave that dictatorial Ponzi scheme that is the European Union. So we're going to talk some more in a few moments after that I read what the content of Mervyn Gibson's speech actually was. And this is something for every single unionist in Northern Ireland and around the United Kingdom to welcome Mervyn Gibson's own words. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk some more about some of the things that has been happening here that we were involved in over the past few weeks with ordinary people, with people of good standing around this country, in where that we reckon that we've ensured that the resolve of the DUP will be staying exactly where it was when it was on the protocol rally stages. And we'll talk about that in a moment or two. So stay with us. Tag some people into the live chat. And if, you could give us a like, give us a love, give us a share. The numbers are really, really high from across the platforms this evening. And what we need to do is, because, we need to, if you're new here, give us a like, give us a love, give us a share. Make sure you tag people into the live chat. And, what we want to do is that we want to be able to invite you every single time that we go live. We do things for and on behalf of British Unionists here in Northern Ireland. And as a collective, well, I have to say that things are looking good There is something definitely at the start of this week after what happened at the weekend, after the results that we've had, and we'll talk about them very, very soon, over the last few weeks. Well, we actually think that things, for once in my life, you know the words of the song, things seem to be going the right way for unionists here in Northern Ireland. So tag people into the live chat, give us a like, give us a love, give us a share, and I'm going to commence with reading Mervyn Gibson's statement from the weekend. So, okay, I'm reading from the newsletter, and again, I'm going to give credit to the newsletter because what we're doing is we're taking their copy and we're relating it onto our screen. So, all credit for what is written here is to the Belfast newsletter, if that's what they call it, certainly the newsletter. So, during his platform address ahead of the NI Centennial Parade on Saturday, the Reverend Mervyn Gibson also said there would be no functioning executive at Stormont without fundamental change to the post-Brexit ANI protocol. Now, fundamental change to the post-Brexit ANI protocol. Now, I'm going to talk, after I read this, what Mervyn had said, I'm going to talk about some of the things that we've been involved in and how that it was that we started off at Restore UK. Just a few people. In fact, it started off with myself and another man who is involved in the judicial review against the protocol that has gone on to the Supreme Court. And it started off actually not last Monday, but the Monday before. Whenever Boris Johnson would have written in the Belfast Telegraph and Liz Truss would have delivered what it was that she had on offer to unionists the very next day. Well, you know, if you come here, that what we did is that we showed in a conclusive way how that people's words were actually changing. Now, I do see here that if that is the exact words from Mervyn, so there will be no functioning executive at Stormont without fundamental change to the post-Brexit ANI protocol. Well, you know, the only fundamental change that any unionist should ever accept to that protocol is that the EU has not got a footing in Northern Ireland, that there is no border, there is no red lanes, there is no green lanes, there is no checks and goods coming from England, Scotland and Wales to Northern Ireland and back the other way. Because what did I say? This is about rights. This is about equal rights. This is about your rights as a United Kingdom citizen, and anything that waters down those rights, well, that can't be acceptable to Northern Ireland unionists. And well, we're going to explain some more after that I read what it is that Mervyn had to say. So, however, it says that Reverend Gibson suggested compromise might be necessary to secure the stability of Northern Ireland, telling the crowd, we do not live in a world as we would like it to be. We live in a world in reality of today, with its challenges for this generation. Well, you see, again, I'm going to say this, and look, I'm a man for calling a spade a spade. You have to call a spade. And, you know, and again, I'm going to sort of disagree with those words, because pragmatism means that someone, and I have words from Mervyn Gibson here at Restore, in where that he says to me, pragmatism, taking the pragmatic view, taking the pragmatic way forward, would actually means that someone is getting shafted. I have Mervyn Gibson actually saying that. In fact, let's go and look and let's see before that we read on. And I want people actually to listen to this here. You know, I heard the heavy words from Mervyn Gibson. This is the first time that I'm reading this newspaper piece. I had been asking everyone, does anyone have the full words of Mervyn Gibson's speech from Saturday? And yet we will get it. We do know someone that has it, and you know, he was out and he couldn't actually deliver us it, so we don't have it right now to be able to go through the depth of it. But what we need to do is that we need to pick apart the words, and we need to lay out bare the words, and we need to understand where that it is that people are prepared to go. What is their bottom line, and is their bottom line actually good enough for securing Northern Ireland securing us as the Northern Ireland citizens as full members of the United Kingdom? So let me just look and I'll see, do I have that Mervyn Gibson thing here. I do. I think I do. Yes, I do. So I'm going to let you hear what Mervyn Gibson had said about pragmatism, about compromise. And I'm going to remind you, see, this is the joy of what we do at Restore. What we are now doing is that we have like archives now of what people said, when they said it, what they were talking about, how they were talking about it. And this is great. I just read this article and I'm able to go into our archives and I'm able to show you this.
The Orange Order is a very, very broad church. We have all shades of political opinions in it. We've all reformed denominations in it. So there'll be people who will want to do their utmost on the streets, and there'll be other people who think we've made the mistake already, it's too late. There'll be others who want to play the game and see where it goes. So we're a broad church, so it's hard for me to say what will happen or what the Orange Order will do, because our members will do different things according to their own conscience. But personally speaking, I have to say, I believe that it has happened. I heard John Tongue use the phrase pragmatic. It's not a phrase I'm overly keen about, because pragmatism usually means somebody's being betrayed or somebody's being let down. But I don't see a situation whereby it may be done by legal terms to overturn it. The vote, you could try that, but I think we've wasted hundreds of thousands of those sort of challenges over the years. The first option that jumps to the unionist minds is protest. But let me say clearly, these are different days from 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, and 100 years ago. You have to cut your cloth accordingly as to what the community will do. There's no good lamenting that we won't get 500,000 to sign a covenant, which I don't believe we would nowadays. There's no good lamenting we can't bring the Providence to a halt through a strike, which we did in 74, because I don't believe that would happen today. People have changed, societies changed, etc. And the same way as in the flag protest, I remember speaking to those in the flag protest, which I totally agreed that the flag shouldn't have come down. I was totally opposed to it. But very few took to the streets. Yet in all, there was 60,000 people in East Belfast sitting watching Coronation Street saying it was wrong, but there was only a few hundred out in the street protesting against it. So that showed for me that the days of on-street protests, by and large, are over. The one notable exception was the homecoming parade. I thought unionism was never united as before, as people headed.
So, I mean, I didn't want to go on with that clip, but I mean, the key words there, what Mervyn Gibson had said, is that pragmatism, taking the pragmatic way forward, compromise, well, it normally means that someone's being let down or someone's being shafted, basically. This is me just paraphrasing on the words, but yet I read here, however, Mervyn Gibson suggested compromise might be necessary to secure the stability of Northern Ireland. Now, what we would need to find out from Mervyn, and we're going to seek to invite him back on to Restore here to talk about his speech, and we're going to need to find out, what is the bottom line? What does compromise mean? Does compromise mean that we accept a border in the North Channel? Does compromise mean that the push post stays, that there's red lanes and green lanes? Is that what it means? So we need to really drill into those words to understand what it is that Mervyn was actually talking about. But look, this might be good, because we did hear some real good words from Mervyn on that stage. I haven't heard the entirety of the speech, and we're reading from the newsletter right now through what it was that Mervyn delivered at the centenary celebrations on the platform on Saturday. So again, I'll just start again. However, Reverend Mervyn Gibson just suggested compromise might be necessary to secure the stability of Northern Ireland, telling the crowd, we do not live in a world as we would like to live in. We live in a world with reality of today, with its challenges for this generation. There were cheers and applauses during his speech as he defended the place in Northern Ireland in the United Kingdom. So someone tweeted ahead. Now, this is, again, what I believe that Mervyn's own words were. So someone tweeted ahead of today that we as unionists are living in times of uncertainty and opposition. They are right, but that is and always has been the case, he said. We have always lived in such times due to those within who want to destroy Northern Ireland for the sake of some new utopian Ireland, where we are told we will live and all be valued. A new Ireland where the planter after 400 years will finally be accepted. Let me respond to this. Now, this is Mervyn Gibson's words to this magnanimous gesture. We neither need your permission or acceptance. We are here longer than Joe and Richie's folk are in America. We are the United Kingdom citizens by birth, Northern Irish through our culture and heritage, which makes us British by choice and by conviction. We have no interest in becoming part of an all Ireland. So save your breath is what Mervyn would have delivered from that platform. Reverend Gibson added, the majority of unionists have voted that political unionism do not join an executive until the wrongs lurking in the protocol are rooted out and thrown out. Now, I would emphasize right here that the wrongs lurking and hiding in the protocol are that should there be any separation, any divergence from us and England, Scotland, and Wales by way of a border, by way of even us, as Mr. Poots would have suggested just a few weeks ago, that he would carry out border checks and keep the Poots posts in Larne, in Belfast, and in Warrenpoint. Well, I'm going to suggest that the dangers that are lurking in the protocol, and we're going to get on to this in a moment, is actually what it was that the Poots had said on the Nolan show that he was prepared to accept. So let's literally hold every single word to account, and let's ensure that we continue to push home the message that British unionism is now at the place of, well, we want equality with England, Scotland, and Wales, and anything less than our full membership of the United Kingdom with England, Scotland, and Wales, well, it does two things. What it does is it annexes Northern Ireland away from the United Kingdom, and it puts in place in its embryonic form the breakup of the United Kingdom, because we know, and she's already said, that Nicola Sturgeon will be looking for exactly the same circumstances as Northern Ireland. Now, she can't actually ask for those circumstances until that things have been settled. And you believe me, this is our final last chance at putting things right with reference to this constitutional changing EU protocol, whatever it is that the DUP will agree to in the very, very near future. And you make no mistake, they will be agreeing to something. But whatever it is that they do agree to, well, there'll be no going back. This won't be a staging post. This will be a full and final settlement, and we will have no chance of ever overturning what it is that the DUP do on our behalf. So we need to get this right. That's number one. And number two, we need to insist and ensure and continue to push our politicians to ensure that they don't get things wrong. So let's go on and let's read on about what Mervyn would have said. The majority of unionists have voted that political unionism do not join the executive until the wrongs lurking in the protocol are rooted out and thrown out. Let us make it very simple for our European neighbours, not least those on the other side of the border in the Republic of Ireland. We will not tolerate as any system, process, or structure that will allow checks on goods trading within the UK for use within the UK. Now, that is very, very welcome language. That nearly tells me what it is that that we need as unionists. That here we have the Orange Order coming out with a very, very strong statement and saying, and this is why I say that we had a major cultural boost. This is welcome language from the Orange Order, and it is to be welcomed by every single British unionist living here in Northern Ireland. So again, I'm going to read, we will not tolerate any system, process, or structure that will allow checks on goods trading within the UK for use within the UK. No fundamental change to the protocol, then no functioning assembly. Now that seems pretty clear to me. That seems pretty straightforward to me. So then again, I go on. The words of our forefathers still ring true for us today, even from Derry's walls to the signing of the covenant. United we stand, divided, and I'm going to add this bit, divided we most definitely fall. And the cry to those who seek to persuade us, protocol or push us into the United Ireland, is still the same, no surrender. So there you go. That was Mervyn Gibson's speech. That was the first time that I read it. I had heard snippets from it, and I have to say that there is very encouraging language from within Mervyn Gibson's statement. Very, very, so there's something that we all should take good, we should take cheer from, that finally there are people who they are willing now to stand strong and to ensure that we as unionists in Northern Ireland, we get a very strong deal. Now, let's go back and let's take us back for a few days here. I just want to look at this here. Yeah, so that was the BBC, and I'm just going to kick this from our screen, if you just bear with us. Now, what I want to talk about is a chain of events which happened over the past few days. Again, I take you back, and you know that we done a little documentary of the chain of events which would have seen the softening of Jeffrey Donaldson's language from the protocol must go, that we need to be dealing with the issues around the protocol. That's when he was, standing in the Great Hall of Stormont with his elected MLAs, to Liz Truss having delivered and suggested that, well, this is not about removing the protocol. This is about, dealing, working within the protocol. Really, this is what Liz Truss would have delivered. Now, again, I'm going to look for to see, do I have a little, I maybe have a little video of this on here, and I know that I have, so just bear with me. I'm just looking to see, do you have anything here from Liz Truss in front of me? Bear with me for a second or two. I may not have. I think I changed the SD card for it. So anyway, Liz Truss would have said that this isn't about changing the protocol. And Liz Truss was really talking about green lanes and red lanes and checks and goods on the red lanes, and that the UK government, well, the British government, they would be ensure that there was enforcement on checks on the goods that was coming to Northern Ireland. Now, that wasn't what we wanted, and that's certainly not what Reverend Mervyn Gibson was talking about there. Mervyn Gibson was really strong in opposition to that, but we did see Jeffrey Donaldson, after that Liz Truss would have delivered her speech, last Tuesday going round, or was it the Tuesday before? Things move that quick in politics. So we did see, it wasn't last Tuesday, it was the Tuesday before. After Liz Truss would have delivered that in the Parliament, we heard Jeffrey Donaldson saying, well, that's a welcome step. And, if we need to have a look at the legislation whenever it comes out, he said, and then he went on to say that, and if the legislation checks out, that forms the basis of us getting back into Stormont. But the thing that we noticed here at Restore, was that there still was going to be posts, that there still was going to be checks in Larne and Belfast and in Warrenpoint, that there was going to be goods being checked that was coming to the EU in a red lane. There was going to be a trusted trader scheme that was given to the hauliers who would bring our goods from England, Scotland and Wales to Northern Ireland and back the other way. And that to me presented a huge problem. And we did hear Liz Truss say that the British government would ensure, they would enforce checks, regulatory checks on the goods coming here to Northern Ireland. And what that constituted is a border in the Irish Sea, a border in the North Channel. Make no mistake, that's what it constituted. And what we did, and this is the chain of events that we're now going to talk about, that we reckon that would have played a huge part in turning things around from within unionism here in Northern Ireland. And in fact, we are hearing soundings, and even on Thursday we had something huge delivered to us, and it was by way of Jim Allister and the TUV, and we're going to be reading out what it was that Jim Allister actually said just in a few moments. So this was the chain of events. So we noticed that Jeffrey Donaldson had been accepting a border in the Irish Sea. We heard Mr. Poots saying that the DUP would enforce the checks in Belfast or anywhere here in Northern Ireland or on the Irish Sea. And I nearly fell off my seat when I heard that. So what we did was that we began a process of talking to people. We began a process of breaking down a sales document that was there to accept the benefits from what Liz Truss was actually selling. And we began a process of persuading people with others around this country. Now, just not Restore UK, but different groups from different places around this country. We began a process of actually talking to these people. And, and it seemed as if that we were standing alone 2 Mondays ago, not Monday past, but Monday before, and not Tuesday past, but Tuesday before, whenever Boris Johnson's writing in the Belfast Telegraph came, and whenever Liz Truss delivered what it was that she was delivering, and after which Gavin Robinson of the DUP also said to the BBC, and we do have that also in an audible way, that he said that, well, again, that's a good thing, and that forms the basis of how that it is that we're going to get Stormont up and running again. But we noticed the border remained in the Irish Sea. We noticed that Putsch Post was going to remain, and we really seen that this was once this would be agreed, that would be it written in stone, that would be, are you ready for it, quote unquote, a permanent border between us, England, Scotland and Wales, and no border between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic. And once that was gone, once that was signed up to, once anybody would compromise in a pragmatic way for something like that, well, it's the destruction of the United Kingdom which has begun. Because once that has been signed up to, Nicola Sturgeon is going to demand exactly the same. So what we did, just not Friday there past, but Friday before, is that, you see, we're involved in the protocol case that is fighting against the constitutional changing EU protocol, where we had the first hearing and judicial review in Belfast, then we had an appeal to the judicial review, and then we now have been fast-tracked to the Supreme Court. And that's set to be happening either this October or perhaps November, in and around that time. This is the time frame that has been related with reference or by way of the legal advisors. So what we did 2 Fridays ago, judging on what it was that we reckoned that Unionism was going to sign up to, is that we went and we got some legal advice from the legal people involved in that case. And the legal opinion was this, that I wrote to, and give it to a man involved with us with this case. I wrote that I had huge concern. I had huge concern because I thought that if the DUP signed up to anything by way of what Liz Truss had actually delivered in the Parliament 2 weeks ago, that it would scupper the Supreme Court case. And I written and cited, with the help of someone else, the man that is actually pushing forward with the case. I mean, we're just advisors in the case, but we're behind it. We're pushing it. And I, with the help of this man, we drafted, our concerns, and we passed it to the legal people. And what they did was they delivered us, not Friday past, but the Friday before, legal opinion. And what they said was that, your concerns are not unfounded with reference scuppering the protocol case, because this is what they said. They said that not necessarily means is that, well, it's possible that they could scupper the Supreme Court case if they sign up to what it is that Liz Truss is delivering. But then they went on to say something which was even more helpful to us, and it was legal opinion, and it was delivered to us as legal opinion. And that legal opinion then was passed in through the DUP via Ian Paisley Jr. Now, what did it say in that legal opinion? It said that under Liz Truss's deal, the deal that was on offer that was delivered in the Parliament 2 Tuesdays ago, under that deal, there remains a border in the Irish Sea. And for that reason, that means that the protocol, the case against the protocol at the Supreme Court, it's proceeding. But then again, as I say, they did say, well, not necessarily, but under that deal. And, we really wanted to understand this. So listen very carefully. So what we did was we asked, right, okay, so under what it was that Liz Truss is delivering right now, there's likely to be negotiations and maybe a few things changed on what it was that Liz Truss was delivering 2 Tuesdays ago. So we asked that, Well, under Liz Truss's deal, or with any adjustments to that deal, could that scupper the Supreme Court case? And the legal opinion again was that no, because, well, not necessarily, but because that there still is a border remaining in the Irish Sea, and no one can get around that. That's the legal opinion that was delivered to us. So we passed it into the DUP via Ian Paisley Jr. 2 Fridays ago, that legal opinion. And I have to say that the people that we were dealing with, not just the people at Restore, but we were dealing with other people, from different places in Northern Ireland. And I have to say that put a huge smile on our face, because our belief at that point was that the DUP can't possibly sign up to this deal on offer from Liz Truss. And whilst the Jeffrey Donaldson would have welcomed it, how could they possibly go against what it is that legal opinion actually states? Because the legal opinion said that there's a border in the Irish Sea under that deal. Now, the further things we talked, and we at that point we talked about, we really needed, we needed Jim Allister, and Jim Allister's involved in the other protocol case on the same basis. Jim Allister, Kate Hoey, and Ben Habib, and what we really needed was Jim Allister to consider this. Jim Allister's a barrister, and Jim Allister's dealing also with legal people that are fighting the protocol. And something happened in this country last Thursday, and every single British unionist, the length and breadth of the United Kingdom, the length and breadth of Northern Ireland, has Jim Allister to thank for something that Jim Allister wrote just last week. And I'm amazed that no one has actually spotted this here, because Jim Allister laid out in depth exactly what we had been saying from the week before, and he laid it out in the way that I was actually concerned about from the Monday that Boris Johnson had given his writing in the Belfast Telegraph, and the Tuesday after which Liz Truss had delivered her Brexit deal, or her protocol deal, on offer, and the DUP had accepted it. Not accepted it, but accepted it in principle. You see, Jeffrey Donaldson welcomed it. We have the video showing you that he did that in the Parliament, and he says, well, if the legislation checks out, that forms the basis of us getting back into Stormont. Now, I'm going to read from what it was that Jim Allister wrote. And as some people had said to me who were dealing with us, they said, something. What Jim Allister has just delivered is legal meat on the bones which you were pushing from the week before, and not just me, but the people here at Restore UK. And something, I believe then we've seen different language coming from our politicians after last week, after Jim Allister had written this, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to tell you right now is that we fed it into the DUP hierarchy via the same channel. And I would say that whenever they read that, well, I think that they don't have a leg to stand on to accept Liz Truss's deal, which would have delivered a border in the North Channel, which would have delivered the permanent lifting of the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and placed it right slap bang on the sea border, which is located at Larne, Belfast, and in Warrenpoint. So what I want to do is that I want to now go, and I want to clip on something, and I want to read exactly what it was that Jim Allister had been talking about. Now, if you just bear with me for a second, because this is very important. We didn't plan any of this here, and we're good enough now where we can actually do this on the hop. So this is the most important thing that has happened within British Unionism to save British Unionism, and I'm going to say ever since that constitutional changing protocol came into being at the start of last year. And we have Jim Allister, and I suspect Ben Habib and Kate Hoey to thank for what it was that Jim Allister delivered last week. And in fact, I know that there's TU viewers on our channel right now, and I'm going to ask the TU viewers, and in fact, I want Jim Allister, I'm inviting Jim Allister on this channel to come and to talk about why that it is that he decided to write these words last Thursday. But I believe that these words has left our politicians in absolutely no doubt that they don't have a leg to stand on, that they can't sell this deal on offer by Liz Truss. That, we were seeing like what we call, there was a document that was floating around from a day before Boris Johnson delivered his Telegraph article, and the Liz Truss delivered the next Tuesday. We seen something the Sunday evening, and what I said to a man, I says that is a position paper for a DUP claim down. And that is someone trying to sell the DUP claim down when they were talking about the protocol as in a corpse-like state. But there was going to be a border in the North Channel. And we proved that through the legal opinion. And we got that copper fastened last week whenever Jim Allister would have delivered this. Now, bear with me for a second, because what I want to do is I want to read this as we go. So here we go. Now, bear with me. I'm going to flip down the screen a wee bit to get this in focus. Right, here we go. Just let me share my screen so that I can read this to you. So share screen. In fact, I don't need to share the screen. What I'll do is I'll just read. That's hard to do. So this was delivered by Jim Allister on the 26th of May at 12:22. That was last Thursday. Whenever I seen this, I had a huge smile on my face. And this is the single greatest, most important thing that has happened in the fight against the protocol. I believe, this has now changed the course of where some people may have been going. So why green and red custom lanes are not the answer to the NI protocol. And this was an article by TUV leader Jim Allister, QC, MLA, and it was published in the newsletter last Thursday. So those, including the government, who claim green and red customs lanes would remove the offence of the protocol, are ignoring three critical realities. First, green and red customs lanes confirm in themselves that in moving from GB to NI, you're moving from one customs territory to another. The very essence of the sovereignty-busting Article 5 of the protocol. One could imagine and understand their meaning if there were a green and red lane, say, between England and independent Scotland, but belonged to the EU. But never so long as Scotland is an integral part of the UK, then likewise, our constitutional integrity in Northern Ireland necessitates the repudiation of the green and red customs lanes. Their very ameliorations confirm that the partitioning of the UK through a border in the Irish Sea. So basically what Jim was saying was that, the very fact that there's green and red lanes there are suggesting that, well, we're going to still be part of the EU single market. And no matter why they move the EU oversight in terms of the EU courts dealing with any problems, no matter why they do that or not, there remains an Irish Sea border. So let's read on from what Jim was saying. The second reality that the green and the red customs lane proposal ignores and does not address is the invasive Article 7 of the protocol. Article 7 is that which implies a huge body of EU law. The EU, directly and irreversibly to Northern Ireland, is articulated in Annex 2 of the protocol to the extent of 300 such EU laws, which we can't change but must implement as a colonised rule taker. So this is very strong language in what Jim delivered with reference to what it was that Liz Truss would have delivered the previous week, and which Jeffrey Donaldson had welcomed. So what Jim was actually saying here was that we still will be subjected to 300 EU laws, which we cannot change, but we must implement as a colonised rule taker. The undemocratic import of Article 7 is breathtaking, Jim goes on to say. We, a part of the United Kingdom, which elects MPs and MLAs, are governed in matters of trade and manufacturing of goods and standards by laws we don't make and can't change. How any Democrat, Unionist, Nationalist or other can acquiesce, nay support such abject subjugation to foreign dictatorship is beyond comprehension. Thirdly, The unacceptable green and red custom lane proposal leaves untouched the monstrous impositions of Article 8 and Article 10 of the Protocol, which retain Northern Ireland under the EU's VAT regime and severe state aid rules. Once more, taxation without representation hallmarks this undemocratic access whereby we are governed not by the UK rules and laws, but by a foreign diktat. So anyone who thinks green and red customs lane would neuter and deal with the protocol is seriously deluded and does not get the fundamental offence that must be removed, namely a protocol which annexes us into a foreign jurisdiction. Now, those are very, very, very strong words by Jim Allister. Very, very strong words. And, you know, as he said, that any unionist that doesn't get this, well, you know, they're not really in tune with the realities of the protocol and how that it is that we would still be subjected to the 300 EU rules, which we haven't even seen the extent of yet, because that there's easements from within that protocol right now. So there we go, people. There we go. We've got to take our hat off to Jim Allister for really coming out and making that huge statement with meat on the bones in terms of legal opinion on what it was that he wrote last Thursday. So there you go. I'm popping this up from Jim Werner. Thank you, Alan. And Jim Allister is smart too, you know. So there we go. Jim Allister, thank you, because, you know, we felt, even though that we were working with people around this country from the day before that Boris Johnson would have delivered in the Telegraph, and Liz Truss would have delivered by way of what it was that she had on offer to British Unionism. You know, we felt pretty alone in this, and in fact, there were a lot of people that were buying into what I would say was the DUP climb down position, and there was a document that was floating around in the background, and people were persuading for that document. And, you know, I said straight out that I would never support that I couldn't support that drives a border in the North Channel, the Irish Sea, and it's a permanent border. And, you know, we were told, well, this is a staging post. And I told the same people, well, respectfully, I say, get your head looked at, because if you think this is a staging post, if you don't think that this is permanent, well, respectfully, I say you shouldn't be involved in advising unionism. And that's how we were dealing with things. So there we go. We really did change, I think, the course of how things that were going to go. Now, we may have won a little battle just over the past week or so, with the collective efforts of people who love this country and who do not want to see this country in the hands of the socialist hellhole that is the Republic of Ireland, which is, you know, they're rule takers. They are, you know, a vassal of the EU dictatorial Ponzi scheme. And we don't want to be going down that road. You know, no matter why some people want to hand us off and want to hive us off and want to annex us off, no matter whether there was undertakings given to these Americans way back whenever Peter Brook would have delivered firstly in 1990, November 1990, when he said that Britain has no selfish strategic or economic interest in Northern Ireland. You know, whenever that process began back then, well, what we need to do is that we need to reverse what it is that our Parliament, the Westminster Parliament, how they see Northern Ireland. And, you know, I'm going to say something that, you know, how would it be if the democracy for the people of Northern Ireland wasn't respected with reference to the Brexit vote, that we had our democracy denied? And how would it be that if at some time in the future a border poll was delivered to Republicans and they had that respected? You know, how would unionists feel in Northern Ireland? Wouldn't you feel cheated? Wouldn't you feel that you're second-class citizens? Wouldn't you feel that well, you have been absolutely and utterly shafted You didn't have equal rights. You are a second-class citizen. You don't even have the law on your side. You don't have the democratic values that the United Kingdom was built upon on your side, that they have been removed from you. And well, equality means nothing if you are a British Unionist. And from this day going forward, and I can't emphasize this enough, talking to people in the past few days, what is this all about now for us as British Unionists? What are we fighting for? Well, I can tell you what the people at Restore are fighting for. We are fighting for our full membership of the United Kingdom. We are not fighting for some type of watered down version of unionism here in Northern Ireland, where we are half in the EU and half in the United Kingdom, and we don't have the same democratic right as England, Scotland, and Wales. We are fighting for equality. This is an issue of equality. This is an issue where we as unionists are being discriminated against. This is an issue where we have been annexed. Now, all of those words, we have been annexed. We don't have our democracy. We had our democracy denied. We've had our rights removed. And now equality does not work for you and I and everyone else living here in Northern Ireland. And that's the basis on which that we need to fight this. Now, to borrow a phrase from a man that wasn't in the IRA, when he said that we need to use equality to break these boss reds to keep it clean here at Restore UK. And he's exactly right, that we as unionists, not that we're going to borrow anything from one Jerry Adams, but certainly we believe that from this day going forward, we need to fight this on the basis of equality, on the basis that we are being discriminated against, on the basis that we have had our democratic vote in the Brexit referendum denied. What's sauce for the goose, people, is absolutely sauce for the gander. So there you go. This was unannounced this evening. And, I felt the need to come and to talk about the major cultural boost that we've had in Northern Ireland. Whenever you would have seen what the Chief Constable would have said was 125,000 people coming to Belfast to celebrate the centenary. I believe that there was a lot more than that, but we'll go with that number because there hasn't been an event in this country from the days when Unionists stood at the Belfast City Hall, against the Anglo-Irish Agreement, whenever the estimated figures back then was 250,000 people. There wasn't, in my honest opinion, an event which had gathered the support of that many people in this country from anyone. So nationalists are quite quiet at the minute, unless that they're trying to give themselves feel-good factor, but they're in denial if they don't suggest that, well, are you ready for it? On Saturday, the sleeping giant, they get up with their backsides collectively and they walked and they sat and they celebrated in the streets and the streets surrounding Belfast. And what a glorious sight it was to see. So far from unionism being finished, unionism is not over by a country mile. And we all have cause to be smiling after what we did see on Saturday. So look, people, thanks for coming along. We may have won the battle over the past few days, as I've explained. We may have now are hearing better words coming from our politicians. We may now have it in writing, and I can tell you that, can't show you it, but we may now have it in writing that the DUP position would be that the protocol has to go, that the democratic right of the people has to be respected. And all I'm asking the DUP to do is to stick by the promises that Jeffrey Donaldson had gave and had made when he stood on the protocol rally stages, whenever he said that the protocol has to go. There was no ambiguity in those words. The protocol has to go, and the democratic right of the people of Northern Ireland must be respected, which in turn means that we have to have our Brexit referendum result awarded and given to us in the same way as people in England, Scotland, and Wales. So we'll be watching the DUP. We'll be at their heels, in the coming days and in the coming weeks. And you believe me, we will be not letting off. With many other things going on in the background. And, as a collective, we have worked with several groups around this country, several groups, to ensure that the result that we got last week, well, it came. And it came in a way that we actually needed it to come. So there you go. We've a lot to be celebrating this evening. And thank you very much for coming along. Thanks very much for supporting Restore UK. Give us a like, give us a love, give us a share. And, if you've been watching in the past few weeks, you'll see that we delivered documentary style videos just like this, showing conclusively how that some people were promising one thing and then moving towards doing something else. We're very, very capable here. We've got a good team of researchers. We've got a good team of ordinary people on our live chat who continuously passes the bits that we possibly could miss from time to time. And, together we are strong. Together we is most definitely better than I. And when people stand together, you can achieve a lot. So let's not take our feet off the gas, and let's continue to push our politicians and to ensure that they can't make moves against their back. They can't do things which would end up to the detriment of unionism here in Northern Ireland. Now, before I close and before I play us out with a few things, something to put a smile on everyone's face, what I'm going to ask for is if you can support our work here at Restore. For example, last week and the week before, the week before I took 4 days off work, 4 days and 4 nights, long, hard, looking into something, but it was well worth the effort whenever I have shown you where part of our work put together with a collective's work has possibly changed the course of us being shafted. Well, I spent 4 days and 4 nights not earning money. And as I say, people like myself have to eat. And when I'm doing that, I'm not earning the money to make sure that my bills are being paid and so on. So if you can help our work, I'm going to pop up a PayPal channel, a PayPal account there. Now, we're not saying that you have to put money in that account. And look, many people does put money in that account, and they help us do things in the way that things should be done. If you can help our work, click on that, pop a few pound into the channel. And I really want to thank the people who continuously helps us at Restore. And one of the things that we have up and running at the minute, these documentaries that we've put together, we're going to put them onto small pen drives, just like that. And we're going to give them out for free to people in order that people can see what it is that potentially politicians are doing behind their back. And they're doing it in plain sight. They're not hiding it. But what you have to do is that you have to, study them, study what they say, when they say it, listen to others from within the same party, listen to the people who are in the know and who are delivering things for and on behalf of our leaders. And what you get to do is you get to be able to put a jigsaw together. And, you can generally see the line of travel that some of these people are taking. So, yeah, but it takes a lot of work to be able to do it. So if you can help us, pop a few pound into that. And, together, well, you see what we can achieve when that we all do stick together. So I hope you enjoyed this evening. I hope you enjoyed what it was that we delivered this evening. And what we're going to do is that we're going to play us out with a couple of things. Now, I want to play this because this is something that we're going to have to pursue, and we're really going to have to highlight more. Now, this is, we're going to talk about, just for 2 seconds, and it's only a short video clip, Naomi Long, Sinn Féin Light, the Alliance Party, Naomi Long, who stood against the Union flag flying on that centenary anniversary. Now, I want to show you Naomi whenever she's celebrating the fact that a new elected member of her party would have used ageism, sexism, and racism all into one sentence. And yet somehow the Justice Minister, remember, the Justice Minister thinks ageism, sexism, and racism, well, it's okay if it comes from so-called liberal progressives. Let's just play this, and then we're going to play us out with a few things before that it is that we go. So just stay. Don't be going on. I have to say I'm amazed at the numbers from right across the platforms this evening. People, they're here. You're getting what you want. You're seeing things as they're happening. Restore UK. That's what it means. We can't rest until that our place within the United Kingdom is fully restored and the United Kingdom is secure and restored to the place that it should be.
In this constituency, I remember her standing up and saying steel, meal, peel, and that's what this constituency has had since 1998.
With power comes responsibility, and people now need to take their responsibility seriously.
In this constituency, I remember her standing up and saying steel, meal, peel, and that's what this constituency has had since 1998.
Well, it's not surely she has broken the ministerial code. Of course, she has broken the ministerial code. And that's something that we are going to be taking up with some legal advisors very, very soon. Watch this space. Now, one other thing that I do want to highlight this evening is that, here at Restore, with several people who work in the background, with several talented people. And, one of our talented people that works in the background, he presented me with a poem just a few years ago. And this was written just a few years ago. And the poem was about, charting the course of the Belfast Agreement, charting the fact that the Belfast Agreement doesn't work for unionists, actually laying out bare one man's view of what that Belfast Agreement was. So Jim Werner is the man who originally wrote this poem. And, I asked Jim, could I add some to the end of it? And what we did in a joint venture was Jim wrote the start of the poem. I wrote the end of the poem, because I believe that whilst Jim had charted the course of the Belfast Agreement and how that it didn't work for British unionists, I also believed that it needed at the end some sort of solution. We can all shout about things. And this is no criticism of Jim, because Jim was outlining the problems with the Belfast Agreement. But we can all shout about things. But what's the point in shouting if you don't have a solution? If you don't know where you're going, is the term. Any road will take you there. And there's too many people in this country that don't know where they're going. And they, by extension, they shout about anything, and any road will actually take them there. So I want you to listen to the words of this poem. And then what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be playing us out with something of celebration that's going to put a smile on everyone's face. So playing us out with the poem written by Jim Werner originally, and I added the bit to the end. And I want you to listen to the words of this poem, because this is an insight as to why it is that we find ourselves today in 2022. We find ourselves on the cusp. Well, we did do that a couple of weeks ago. We were on the cusp of losing the United Kingdom for good. If the DUP had have agreed to Liz Truss's deal in the way that it was delivered, or even with adjustments, the solicitors told us, that constituted the permanent placing of a border in the North Channel between us and England, Scotland and Wales. And isn't it as well that the DUP seem to be saying now that they will be delivering on the promises that were delivered on the protocol rally stages. So listen to this poem. We'll come back for a moment, and then we'll be playing this out. Sorry, wrong one. We can all make mistakes. We're only human. I can't help but wonder why so many people, they had to die for being British in our own land, murdered by cowards with their evil hand. The IRA crept back to their bed after leaving so many people dead. A soldier, a cop, a father, a son, a woman, a child, just anyone. But the Unionist people, they did not lie down, fought and defended the red hand and the crown. We stood proud, ready and able. The IRA cried to come to the table. The Belfast Agreement, it was a disguise. It was built for appeasement, swindle and lies. The peace is a farce, the guns are still there, and London's afraid of another bomb scare. Appeasement after appeasement, day after day, provos in government still getting their way, and our two big parties, well, what can I say? They are sitting in Stormont with the IRA, not listening to the people who put them in place. They ask for support, then they lie to your face. A united Unionist party, some say we need, but there's too much corruption, lies and greed. I can't help but wonder why so many people, they had to die for being British in our own land. You can never shake a terrorist's hand. Think of our country, the red hand on the crown. Listen to the people, stop letting us down. Our leaders have blown the chance to make things right. The whole of Unionism, I mean the people, we must unite. So we reach out again with offer of partnership. No time for politicians hell-bent on dictatorship. No puppets, no lackeys, our people deserve better. We will not be sucked in with promises in letter. Meaningful and proactive is the only game in town. We long for a day when politicians stop letting us down. You have one more chance at putting things right. But this time we demand that you stick to the fight. A roadmap must be drawn, agreed by everyone. No hierarchy, no pulling rank is exactly what must be done. An army of people must be put together with weapons of words, which will remain and abide forever. United we stand, divided we most definitely fall. An army of people must be put together with weapons of words, which will remain and abide for another 100 years. You know, the people, ordinary people, is what will drive politicians. There's only one thing that our politicians understand, and that is the vote. They want your vote. So isn't it time that people came together and pooled their vote, pooled their collective vote, forming a powerful lobby right around this country? And I can tell you that things are already in motion in different parts of this country where people are coming together in such lobby groups. And that, again, is something that we need to be very, very thankful for, that there are people around this country who think the same as us and who want to do right for the people, want to do the right thing for the people right around this country. So no doubt in the very, very near future, we will be discussing some of the things that we see going on and some of the things that we've been invited to. Yeah, and I believe that politicians, well, the day of the politician putting the wool over your eyes, it's gone. It is lost. It is gone forever. The day of the politician telling you one thing and going and doing another, well, unless they want to commit political suicide, well, that is gone also. So we need to continue to watch our own politicians. We need to watch them with a hawk-like eye, hang on their every word, and try to anticipate their every move. And it's not that we, that we want to give our politicians hassle, but if they understand, we just do not want to see any more mistakes made for and on behalf of the people of Northern Ireland. Because, mistakes, well, it has cost lives in the past, and it will cost us our country if we do not get things right. We have one last chance at putting things right, and we need to ensure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, and our politicians do not make the wrong move, because one wrong move and it's over. But it was good to see what happened at the weekend. It was good to see how that the language is now changing again by the politicians. It was good to hear that strong language from Mervyn Gibson. It was really good to see the most important statement that has happened since the protocol has came into being, I believe, was what was delivered by Jim Allister last week, because there was the potential for others to agree a permanent border in the Irish Sea. And I believe the collective, that was the people at Restore, other people in other areas, and that topping off with Jim Allister, I believe that has put these people back on track again, and now promising to uphold and to push on with the promises that were made on the protocol rally stages. So that is something to be thankful of. Send Jim Allister an email and thank him personally for what it was that he delivered last Thursday. And you believe me, the strength of what it was that he delivered, it possibly changed the course of history for Northern Ireland Unionists here in Northern Ireland. It's not over until it's over, and we won't rest until that we get a deal that would be suitable for everyone, that respects our place as full members of the United Kingdom, and which returns us to being having our democracy accepted, and returns us to not being second-class citizens and being first-class citizens once more. So thanks very much for sticking with us, people. And again, I'm going to play us out with something that I really, really love. Now we're going to get a new something to play us out with, but I played this a lot lately. And the reason why I play it a lot is that, this is something that puts a smile on my face every single time that I hear it. So just bear with me. I'm looking for here it is. I found the video. And there you go. Our archives are now such that we can just pull these things out. And we just produced that show off the cuff with a title, drawing on what other people had said when they said it, reading from, say, what Mervyn Gibson would have written, or what the newsletter says Mervyn Gibson would have said, and also from Jim Allister. So there you go. We've done an hour and 45 minutes of that type of thing. So playing us out with something that's going to put a smile on every single unionist face. We have a lot to celebrate. Northern Ireland, 101 years old, and here's to, well, another 100 years going forward from this day to that. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you all again on Wednesday evening, unless that there's something that happens that we have to go back and talk about. See you all soon, people. Thanks very much for coming along.